Hi, I'm Minnesota Secretary of State Steve Simon. First, I want to thank you for having me here today as part of this really important summit. I've long enjoyed a really strong and good relationship with LeadMN, and I've been an admirer of the work that your leadership does and that you all do year in and year out. You know, it's really exciting to me to think that for so many of you, the people that you meet and the workshops that you participate in as part of this summit are going to really help prepare you to be leaders into the future in Minnesota and really, I would say, worldwide. I got my own start in public affairs and my own interest in public affairs when I was a student as well, at summits and meetings just like this. So it's an exciting thing to think not only of your participation, but that what all of you are doing by participating is helping to create and craft the world that you want to live in. And that's a really gratifying thing. As Minnesota Secretary of State, I like to say that I and we are in the democracy business. And what a time to be in the democracy business. I'm sure you'll agree. Our office serves as the chief elections official or administrator for the state of Minnesota, which means we oversee the process that goes on in far-flung places around the state. And the result has been a really tremendous record for the state of Minnesota. Really good. How good? Well, for the last 3 elections in a row, Minnesota has been #1 in the country in voter turnout. And that takes some doing. That's not just an accident or a coincidence. It's a lot of people doing a lot of good work and pulling in the same direction. It's our office, yes, but it's also groups like LeadMN who are doing the training and the interactions with people to make sure that they exercise their right to vote. So we're very proud of that record. And sometimes I get asked, what is it about Minnesota that accounts for that record-setting level of voting year in and year out? What is it? Is it an accident? Is it a coincidence? I say no. I think it's at least a couple things. Number one is laws. We've got really good laws on the books in Minnesota. Not perfect, and we could do even better, but we've got good laws on the books that are very pro-voter and pro-access. I'm talking about things like same-day, or sometimes it's called election day, voter registration. Things like online voter registration, and things like being able to vote from home or vote by mail without any explanation or excuse. You can just do it because you want to do it. So laws is number one. The second thing I think that accounts for our record of success and our #1 vote tally for the last 3 elections in a row is that we have a really good and pro-voter culture in Minnesota. We have a lot of people, regardless of political party or political position, who believe that voting is the best thing to do and the right thing to do to make sure everyone has their voice heard. And I think we regard that with a lot of pride. And again, LeadMN is a big part of that voting culture. We have a vigorous nonprofit segment in our state. People of all different political viewpoints who are, again, pulling in the same direction. And that's something we can and should be proud of, not just now, but into the future. Well, not only is Minnesota #1 in the nation in voter turnout, but we've had an outstanding record when it comes to turnout among our youngest voters. I'm talking about voters ages 18 to 29. In the 2018 election, the midterm election, we were #1 in the country, not just in overall voter turnout, but we were also #1 among 18 to 29-year-olds. 2 years later, in the 2020 presidential election, we were also very strong. I regret to tell you we slipped only slightly. The state of New Jersey took over the #1 spot for 18 to 29-year-olds. We were a close #2, but we'll get them next time. Thanks to you, we will get them in 2022. We will regain our rightful place as #1 in America, not just overall, but among 18 to 29-year-olds. But seriously, I think what that tells you is that this culture of voting, of participating, of making sure people have their voices heard at the ballot box extends across age ranges, and that young people in particular, students in particular, are more and more and more acknowledging and embracing the power that they have to shape outcomes, and understanding that the way to do that is at the ballot box. No matter what issue you care about the most, it doesn't matter whether it's student loan debt or environmental protection or racial justice or education or anything else. All roads lead to the ballot box, and no one, it seems, understands that as acutely as our youngest voters. That's something we should all be proud of. It's no secret that Minnesota's educational institutions are getting more and more diverse every year. That's a really good thing, but it also means the pressure is on all of us, our office and all of you, to make sure that every last voice and perspective matters and is valued. And I want to just say a word about those of you who are from or currently live in greater Minnesota. We know that sometimes it can be more challenging getting the resources that you need to get involved, to get plugged in to these systems and to the electoral process. But that's okay. I want you to hear from me directly a very important message, which is your voice matters and your place matters. We are one Minnesota, and we've got to act that way. And when it comes to elections, there are no shortage of opportunities to get involved. In fact, this year, right now as we speak, in the fall of 2021, there are election contests going on all over the state of Minnesota in communities, whether they be rural or suburban or urban. Things like races for mayor or city council or school board. And it doesn't matter, nor should it ever matter, where you live. I want you to know that if you're from Greater Minnesota, we in our office will always have your back when it comes to participation in the electoral process or in the civic process overall. If you are an international student, I want to welcome you to the overall civic process as well. And here's where I have a personal bias, because I am the son of an immigrant. So I know how important and worthy it is for people who are living in this country, even if they're not citizens, to be involved in their community. Even if you're not eligible to vote, there are ways that you can make your voice heard. There are ways that you can organize around issues that are important to you and any community in the state. And it's really important that you never shrink from an opportunity to reach out to elected representatives. Even if you can't vote for them, reach out to legislators, state and federal. Reach out to municipal or city or county officials as well. Make your voice heard, even if it can't be at the ballot box. It's so important that you embrace the opportunity to make sure that you can have an impact on issues that you really care about. Getting young people and students involved in the overall civic process is a core mission of my office, one that I take very, very seriously. So I want all of you to know that my door is always open. I am open to any ideas or even criticisms when it comes to how to reach out to and inspire people to get involved in their communities. And that's what I hope for you to come out of this summit, which is I hope that you leave this summit inspired. Inspired about your community, inspired if you're eligible to go out and vote, but inspired generally to make sure that you use your power and your voice to make your world a better place. Thanks for your time and attention. Thanks to LeadMN, as always, for doing such a spectacular job organizing and inspiring young people and students. I'm at your service, and thanks for having me.